So it's December 27th, and I'm going to run through my entire crypto portfolio. And I'm going to do it as quickly as possible and really not spend much time on each one because I've got a fairly significant amount. This is crypto for the rest of us. I do it 6 days a week, however, not during the Christmas season. And I'm a big dumb animal. Don't do what I do. That's my disclaimer. Informational purposes only. I did a video on one category, layer one, in the crypto that I had. It was long. It was involved. If you're interested, you'll see it in the list. Please do subscribe and actually hit that like button if you like my videos. It really helps each video out. The second thing is I then did one on just DeFi. And now we're going to talk about everything. So first, three things here: categories, allocations, goals, and then we'll get into them. Categories. I'm going to put it up on the screen here. These are the categories that most of my things fall into. Layer one, I'm about 50% in layer ones. And this is by the amount of money that I invested, not by what it's worth now. I've been buying for well over a year. I've been involved in crypto for a long time, but for this particular bull run, 50% layer ones, 16% DeFi, decentralized finance, 16% AI. So that's the majority of it right there. And also let me say, some of these I probably mentioned before, they will cross various industries. For example, Near Protocol being a layer one. However, I think of it as an AI layer one. I think of some layer ones as generic and some as specifically built for a specific purpose. Okay. Then oracles, interoperability layer two. Those are the next three categories. However, I look at those as really supporting layer ones and others, because you've got oracles that are providing information. You've got interoperability, which of course you need between chains, and then layer twos, which sometimes can just make things more efficient, etc. So those, in my mind, support the other three. I'm a little bit in decentralized physical infrastructure, Dpin, gaming. For me, it's just infrastructure, IoT, Internet of Things. Okay. So I believe that this time around, in other words, the next 6 months or so in 2025, Q1 and Q2, assuming that things play out the way economists and others believe they will, M2 money supply, everything, asset prices push up. We could go into all of that. I'm not going to. Let's just assume we think there'll be a bull run for 6 months. Okay. Those are the categories I personally believe this time around will do really well. Allocations. I basically have three buckets. So within each one of these categories, I've got my largest allocations, I've got some medium allocations, and then I've got my long shots. And typically it's your large cap. If they're $1 billion or more, I might have a decent amount in there. And then the medium cap ones, I'm probably doing half as much as the other ones, maybe a little less. And then a very small amount on long shots, and they could be anything. I just happen to like the technology. That's the way I break out my investments. When I talk about these, don't think if I talk about 10 in a category that I have $10,000 in all 10. It might be 30,000, 30,000, 10, 10, 10, and 1, 1, 1, something like that. My goals, and I think this is important, my goals are to probably sell out the majority of it in this bull run if things play out the way it looks, and it looks like we might be going into a bear market after that. Will I keep any coins? Possibly some. We'll have to see how it plays out. If it looks like some of these are going to cruise, in other words, they're not going to have a huge drop, I don't know. I've got this weird feeling that Hedera and ICP, depending upon how high they go, they may not drop as much as others. That's just in the back of my mind. I don't know why. Will I keep it all? Probably not. Will I keep some? Maybe. It drives me crazy when I sell out too early and things just go ballistic. Whether or not there'll be a super cycle that some people talk about and we won't go into a big of a bear, I don't really think that's the case. We'll see. Lastly, I'll be keeping things probably like Ethereum, maybe half, I don't know, because I use it for debanking. Whole different topic, debanking. All right, let's get into it. Layer ones, Ethereum, XRP. Now, I've done many videos on XRP. I've sold the majority of mine, like 90% of it. Various reasons. You have to look at those videos. Solana, huge for me last run and many people, and I think it will still do very well. These are in the top, the top 5 or so. ADA, Cardano, ADA, that's what's at number 9 right now. Down here we've got Sui. I think Sui's going to do big things, and they have some interesting backers like Raoul Paul. Polkadot, that's for me, that's really a holdover from the last one. I've got Hedera, ICP, there it is, number 31. I think ICP is way undervalued at the moment. And Hedera, as you know, has been running up. Okay, so out of those, I consider all of those to be, in my mind, generic, meaning build anything, build any application on them. They're not specific to any one particular thing, although they do try to go after specific particular markets. ICP will say, build the full stack on us. You don't have to go outside the chain. True. Hedera, going after enterprise, and I think they're going to do great things, those two. Out of all of those, Hedera, ICP, and Ethereum are my biggest holds. Now, specific purpose. Near, for me, is specific to AI. I did a whole video about it. People who started it specifically for AI and then realized they needed a better infrastructure, and they built Near to create that infrastructure for what they wanted to then do in the AI space, which is they've kind of flipped in the last year to focus just on the AI. Now that they have their infrastructure. OM, mantra, for DeFi and RWA. To me, it's specific for that purpose. We've got TIA, which is Celestia, build your own chain, so to speak. Injective, that is DeFi. Flare, interoperability. EGLD, multiverse. Fast, Mina, small, a 0K proof, 22 kilobytes, incredibly small. Mina, I don't know if it's going to get the attention it deserves, honestly. I think it's amazing. It's one of those, when they call it, zero knowledge proof, you can prove it without having to look at the actual data. Incredibly private, incredibly small. And then Vanry, VANRY. All right, so all of those I would consider specific purpose. So there's my layer one list. You can look at it and be happy if you've got what I've got, or tell me why you think some of mine are bad, or why, if you think I should have a different one to replace one of those, let me know. DeFi. For me, we're talking about exchanges, decentralized exchanges, borrowing and lending, RWA, real world asset, tokenization, and then basically some layer ones specific to that. Decentralized exchanges, my two biggest are Aero, AERO. That is built on the base network. You can't buy the base network because it was built on top of Ethereum by Coinbase. They don't have a crypto for it. So if you look in the DeFi space onto what's built on that, we've got Aero, AERO. To me, I think that's really going to take off. Then SAUCE, SAUCE. You might consider that a long shot. It's on the Hedera blockchain. DeFi on Hedera is just starting to really move, and that's the biggest decentralized exchange. So borrowing and lending. I believe borrowing and lending is an industry that is going to continue to explode and not go away. One of the big reasons I'm big on debanking. Morpho, that's on the base network, borrowing and lending. We've got GFI, Goldfinch. I'm on the fence. I got out. I got back in. I'm not sure. I really like Maple MPL, which is also SYRUP. They're converting the Maple to Syrup tokens, 100-to-1 conversion. Both of them still trading, and I think you've got about 3 years to make the conversion. Whether or not you do, that's up to you. You'll have to look at the different exchanges to see where the majority of the liquidity is in case you want to sell it in the next couple months. C-Pool, which I love. I'm a big believer. Pendle, and I hope at some point Bonzo, BONZO, which is on the Hedera chain. And if you provide liquidity right now, you lock up some of the different, whether it's USDC or Hedera, you can receive points for providing that liquidity. And then if you borrow, you have to over collateralize at the moment. If you borrow, you can also receive points, and those points eventually will be converted into Bonzo tokens whenever they do their initial token launch. I don't know when that'll be. I'm hoping it will be in the next couple months, I would hope. Okay, so that's it for borrow and lend. RWA, for me, what I consider just strict RWA is Ondo. It's the only one I really put in that category, ONDO. And they have successfully, and it's been a while since they did it, tokenized treasuries. And that's a huge deal, and they did it with a BlackRock fund. Layer ones that I think are specific to DeFi, Mantra, and Injective. So those are ones I watch. My long shots. I have two long shots. One is Bank Social, BSL. And the reason I like it is because they're going after an interesting niche. They're providing sort of a white label to credit unions. Credit unions have a lot of members. And they're providing a solution where the credit unions can use the BSL, the banking social, to provide to their members the ability to buy crypto. So you're a member of the credit union, you're going to your website, you're using all their financial services, things that they have. I'm assuming now you've got some sort of a crypto tab. And when you go to it, it looks as if you're getting this through the credit union, but in reality, it's being powered the back end from Bank Social. That's my understanding. That's a long shot, huge long shot, but I've got that one. If you're interested, how to get it? Well, you get the Hashpack wallet. You put some Hedera in there, and then you can swap it for most projects that are on Hedera. My favorite long shot, I don't think it's as much of a long shot now, but it was when I originally got it. I've had it for quite a while. M87. I don't really know how to pronounce it. Messier. P2P. I think it's going to be huge. It's already provided great returns for me, and I think it's going to blow up even more. Let's get into AI. I break it into a couple things. Let's talk about front-end apps, chatting with a bot, back-end infrastructure, doing the computational, the large language models, etc., and then layer ones, and then what I call my long shots. Okay, so front-end apps, Fetch. Fetch, as you know, hopefully, or you may not, 3 different cryptos came together, and as they show it as a stack for building these bots, each of those provided a different layer of the stack, and then they added a 4th recently, which provides some of the computational. So that's FET, which is actually called Artificial Superintelligence Alliance. Sounds cool. Sounds like a bunch of superheroes. Okay, infrastructure. To me, that's the back end. We've got Aether, ATH, IO, IO.net, Render, and Graph GRT. Those are the 4 that I've invested in. I really like ATH. I'm bigger there in ATH and Render than the other 2. I'm really betting on Aether quite a bit. Okay, it's a much smaller market cap than like a Render. I think it's going to provide much better returns. Then, what are the layer ones I'm paying attention to along with AI? Like I said, Near and Orachain, ORAI. My long shots, TAI, DCK, and LMWR LimeWire. You can look into those if you're interested, but again, long shots. Okay, real quick, let's go through. Dpin, distributed computing. I've got Filecoin, FIL. Let's consider that my large investment in Dpin. Flux, medium, AKT, my smaller within the Dpin space. Interoperability, 2 of them, AXL and W, Wormhole. AXL, I believe that's the one where the price you would be buying is around the same price that the last round of investors. I think it was a C round, and it was a 1 billion market cap at the time. Gaming. For me, only infrastructure. I'm not picking games, although I have 2 long shots, which are games. But in infrastructure, I've got Beam, gaming ecosystem, Prime, Echelon Prime. It's also a gaming ecosystem. IMX, Immutable X. More in the NFT space, but generally speaking, those 3 are real gaming infrastructure. I'm not looking at picking games. I can't do it. The only 2 games I do have, one is DKP, and that's because it's on ICP, and which I really like ICP and their whole ecosystem, just like Hedera and their ecosystem, both for different reasons. I don't think they're that much competing. And Karate on Hedera, KRATE. I think that's just brilliant what they're doing there. Internet of Things. Jasmy and HNT. Enough said. Look into them if you're interested. Layer 2, Matic, ARB, OP. You know, ARB is an Ethereum scaling solution. Okay, then Oracles. I've got Link and Pyth, PYTH. Link, LINK. Obviously, Link is a huge market cap one. Pyth, a smaller one. Now, that being said, do I still have Bitcoin? A small amount. Now, after this bull run, will I move some back into things like, well, immediately stable coins and then maybe some Bitcoin, depending upon how the market goes? Sure. So that's it. That's the entire portfolio. I've never gone through everything before, but there you go. Just gives you an idea. Maybe some you might want to look into, but you can get an idea of how I do it. I look at it by category. I will be tracking progress by category to see when things may be peaking. I will also look at ones that cross category, like a Near, following it with layer ones, also following it with AI. And then, of course, if you look at those various categories, you see how they're doing. And then you look at your crypto within each category and compare it to the rest. Is it keeping up with the Joneses, so to speak, or is it diving? If the category is going through the roof and all the crypto in that category is going through the roof, except for a couple, and yours is one of those couple, take a closer look at it. I think January, February is going to be big. We've got the inauguration. We've got Q1 2025. I'm not too worried about what happens at the end of this year. Why? Because of taxes. There's a lot of people taking profits, moving things around, reallocating because they're doing it for tax reasons. So we might have a very interesting end of December and beginning of January. Hope we can all make generational wealth together with crypto. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.